Welcome back to the Mark Reardon Show. Brad Young sitting in today, and I'm such a nerd. I read this story last week called "Everything You've Been Told About Passwords is a Lie." So I had to reach. I had. Doesn't that sound intriguing, Hannah?
Yes,
it does.
I guess I'm a nerd too.
I'm a nerd. I read that story. So I wanted to reach out to George Rosenthal at ThrottleNet just to see what this is all about. Hey, George, great to talk to you again.
Great to talk to you. Thanks so much for having me on.
Oh, yeah. And I oversee IT at my law firm, and I'm the IT guy. I'm the guy with tape on my glasses. Every time somebody has a problem, they come talk to me, and I'm the guy that's got to fix it. But before we get into all the alternatives to passwords, which there are a lot, let's talk about passwords themselves. Now, we've been told over and over and over again how to make passwords more secure, but if we just stick an exclamation point at the end of our old password, that's not really more secure, is it?
No. In fact, every year Microsoft comes out with a report, and it's so funny to watch every year the most common password used. And 2 years ago, they're always delayed by a year or so. 2 years ago, the most common password was still password 123.
Still.
With a capital P. Yes, it's crazy. I cannot understand it at this day and age after, here we are at 2023 where we were supposed to have flying cars by now, by the way.
Right.
But
that's what the Jetsons said, and that didn't happen.
That's right. That's right. It didn't happen. But the password phrase is so, to me, is so antiquated and outdated. But there are a lot of different things that everybody needs to pay attention to until soon the passwords will get into what I call the future, or where it should be now. And we can talk about that as well. But right now, your password should not be password 123. It should be something that you'll remember. There's a couple of things I would recommend. Number one, make a passphrase, not a password. So use your favorite song lyric. Use an inspirational sentence that'll get you going throughout the day. I use a song lyric, my favorite song lyric, and I put a capital and you spell it out as you would normally do. So some sites and services will let you have a space in the password. Some will not. But if you can, spell it out like a regular sentence with punctuation and so forth. Now, the other thing that everybody hates is don't use the same password for multiple services. So if you're streaming DirecTV, YouTube, Netflix, your bank account, your credit cards, and a lot of people have the same password for all of those services, please don't do that. Do not do that.
Right, because if somebody successfully hacks your account on Netflix, then they could just go and successfully hack your account on Disney Plus or Hulu or whatever.
Yeah, and what's crazy is they're not just hacking the service, but if let's say you click on the wrong email, you download a keylogger, you're sitting at Panera Bread, you get on their free Wi-Fi, and somebody is now logging and copying all your keystrokes. No matter how long your password or passphrase is, it won't matter. They'll be able to get to it. So the key is changing them for each service you use. And then I would highly recommend to solve that problem of remembering all these passwords would be to get a password manager.
Right. We'll get into that in just a second. But before we move on, you mentioned a passphrase. And I will tell you, I've not used this, but I've thought about using it because I'm a Star Trek nut. Okay. So I wanted to have, and I didn't do it. So don't go and try it. It's not going to work. But I wanted to do Space the Final Frontier and replace the S with a $sign and replace some of the other letters with numbers or characters. But isn't that what you're talking about when you say a passphrase?
Yes. So you want it. I mean, obviously, we want it. The longer the password, the harder and longer it takes to crack the password. But if you can swap out a 0 instead of an O, or an exclamation point where an L should be or an I should be, that's great. Just make sure you remember the characters you swap out so it's easy to do. And then also multiple words put together. So it's not just like you're not just taking your first name, George, and replacing the E with a 3. Don't do that.
Right, because that's too easy.
Don't use any personal information. And don't just swap out a character thinking, I'll just take my name and swap out an E for a 3. That doesn't work. That's not gonna help anything.
We're talking to George Rosenthal. He's the owner of ThrottleNet here in St. Louis, and you touched on this a minute ago. I know many people who use password management services just to keep track of all their passwords. But one of the better known password management services, LastPass, they just revealed recently that they got hacked and hackers stole copies of usernames and passwords. So when I see that, there was an old, I forgot the guy's name, but he was a famous bank robber in the 50s, and he was asked, why do you rob banks? And he said, because that's where the money is. So if I'm a hacker and I want to know someone's username and password, the first place I'm going to go is I'm going to try to hack a password management service. So I guess my question, So I guess my question is, do you still recommend those? Are those safe for folks to use?
So I do recommend them. I personally use, and we have no affiliation with them at all, but I personally use the one that's called LastPass. It's LASTPASS. It's about $3 a month. Like I said, there's others. There's a bunch of them out there. Dashlane is another example. But that example you just told, it basically illustrates why nothing is ever perfectly secure. LastPass is saying that a lot of the details around the accounts that were hacked were encrypted and unable to be hacked. That remains to be seen. But the thing is, like, those passwords could be, if they were non-encrypted and they were discovered and unhacked or uncracked, they could be sold on the dark web to a bunch of other services. Mm-hmm. So once your information's out there, it's out there on the dark web, not just for one person to use, but for many to use. So in the event that you were using LastPass when they got hacked, I would recommend going in and changing those passwords. And that's something that a password manager will do for you. You can just hit auto-generate a password, and it'll auto-generate 128 characters of gibberish. But the point is, you never have to remember that password, because that application of LastPass is on every device you have. And you can also go access it through a web browser. So if you happen to be somewhere without your device, you don't have to remember all your passwords, is what I'm getting at.
And that makes it
very convenient.
Very convenient. More than 2 decades ago, we were promised, and I remember this. I remember this is what's coming up around the corner, was biometric security, like iris scans. And we did have some iPhones that used fingerprint scanning for a while, but those have gone away. Why don't we have biometric scanning as a standard practice for computers or VPNs or email services?
So that is definitely something coming down the line very, very quickly. There's a couple of reasons why. Number one, it gets into a lot of people's privacy.
Yes.
The whole 1984 Big Brother thing pops up in most Americans' heads, and they think, I don't want to give anybody my fingerprint, a picture of my face that a computer can recognize. So it's going to, look, that's going to take some time. I mean, society is going to end up changing that way. To where your retina in your eyeball is used to make purchases at a vending machine, where you're going to have your fingerprint matched up with your voice in order to open an application. You're going to have the ability to look at a screen like you do now on an iPhone. And I'm pretty sure that Android's the same way, uses facial recognition. But it's going to take time for the society to understand that, look, your personal stuff's already out there, and until people understand that it's already out there, that it's okay to use facial recognition, retina scanning. It's one step below a chip in your neck. I get it. I totally understand it, or a chip in your wrist. But if we're going to get to the point where technology is more integrated in our lives, remembering 30 passwords is not going to fly for too much longer. So. And again, it comes down to, let's then trust a password manager, then that gets hacked. Now I'm still out in the open. Whereas if it's my face matched up with my voice, nobody can really, they can't copy that unless they're holding a gun to my head and forcing me to open up my bank account.
Yeah, that only happens in Mission Impossible movies.
Only happens in the movies. That's right.
Exactly. So, we're talking to George Rosenthal, owner of ThrottleNet here in St. Louis. Last question: what do you think about multi-factor authentication? That's what I have at my firm for our computers, for our VPNs. How does that work from a security standpoint? Do you like that?
It is now standard practice and needs to be standard practice in your business if it's not already. Multi-form factor authentication. Something as simple as sending a text code to your phone or mobile device in order for you to log into a website just to validate who you are, or you log into your mobile app and then it sends a code to your email and then you need to look that up. But multi-form factor authentication is extremely critical to have. If you do not have that in your company, that's number one.
Well, I got to stop you there, George, because we're coming up on a hard break. But if folks want to reach out to you for more help for their corporate security needs, how can they find you?
Absolutely. It's ThrottleNet.com/971.
That makes it easy. Hey, George, great to talk to you again, and looking forward to talking to you soon.
Great to talk to you as well. Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
My pleasure.